All right.
I'm trying to think. I remember you had a baseball game one time.
Oh, that's as I got a little bit older. So I was
Yeah, you were older.
15 maybe.
It was a lot
14 or
easier
15, 13.
We jumped into your...
I can remember being late to one of my softball games because we were doing a, like, PR, like we were jumping into something else, and so, like, things took a little bit longer, and I was late to my game, and my coach was not happy. It was summer softball, too. It's not like I took any of that very seriously, but...
We jumped into that. Where was that, at Mulvane?
Something like that.
Yeah.
We jumped into fall festivals, and...
it was something to show people that it wasn't a drastically hazardous sport if you're out there with your kids. And then finally they wrote the rules that you couldn't do that anymore. But
it always seemed very normal to me.
Yeah.
But other people don't find it near as normal.
I'm trying to, in as much as you are doing your job now, I took all the kids out to salvage yards.
Yep.
As they were getting their licenses, and
I can remember seeing hair and blood still in a
in a windshield.
In a windshield.
Yeah.
And thinking, wow,
this is why you buckle
disgusting.
up.
Yep. Yeah. It is crazy to think about.
I had a different attitude toward. I guess it's would you consider that a shock therapy?
I think it's important.
Yeah,
it's the reality of it all.
Yeah.
If you're old enough to make decisions about driving, you're old enough to see the consequences about them also.
Yeah, about not buckling up and eating a windshield.
And I see that every day that I work, that people that are unrestrained and, yeah, I mean, that they don't bode well, hitting the windshield at 80 miles an hour, so. I would say as far as the history of skydiving, I'm only 31, so I've not been around this game a long time. It always seemed very normal to me growing up, but Dad's been doing it a lot longer than I have, and I'm glad that I can be a part of the history of it, and if I've made some sort of an impact, and that's awesome. Like I said, it doesn't ever seem that abnormal to me, but I love that there's some documentation going on to kind of gauge the past of the sport. And try to keep it going, and if there's a museum to
keep it I like it. There's people that have gone that we didn't get this done. We didn't get their histories and their memories of the sport documented, and it will never. We'll just have their memories. We won't have it on tape, or we won't have it where someone can go hit a button and find out what the sport was in the 60s or the 50s or the 40s or the 30s, because they're gone. We didn't get it. We didn't get it down. Mm-hmm. And we just have incidental video or incidental film of what the sport was like.
Well, it always seems so, 20 years ago, everything was very normal, and you didn't have to really, maybe the legality of some things were so much different now. Yeah. Everything you have to sign away your life and $10 million worth of insurance to do anything these days, it seems like. So, legally things are changing, and that more regulation is always better. So, there's always going to be anomalies, always going to be, with anything, there's always going to be things that force people and the government to make stricter regulations, but they don't happen all the time, and I'd hate to see this sport.
Well, it's like airport
get shut down.
Yeah,
because
airport
of that.
Access, the limits that you have with people that can skydive, what you can do and that keeps the sport from expanding because of I know USPA is doing a heck of a job of keeping things going to keep the sport alive, but this'll, as far as the videos, we'll get a video documentary. I always wanted to talk to Roger Miller, who sang a song about skydiving, and see where he came up with some of his ideas.
Yeah.
And just never got the opportunity. But, let's see. Oh, yeah, that was Roger Miller sang a song called "The Day I Jumped from Uncle Harvey's Plane." It was about a bunch of Arkansas boys that skydived, and they borrowed a parachute, borrowed an airplane, ran out and fell out of it. It's a pretty comical song. He had myself and some of the other guys from the group that you just have to hear it. But most people don't even know who Roger Miller is now because he is from our era. That we played that a lot it was on the radio for a long time. And I didn't even know about it. I was back in Vietnam as a civilian, and my folks, when I talked to them on the phone.
Oh man. Well, I guess there's probably two different futures that you can look at. The future of skydiving and then my future of skydiving. I wish that times were easy like they were when I was younger, and if we just weren't busy on a day and you had a pilot and we could go tandem, then we could just go. It's a lot harder to do that now.
We'll have to fly a plane over.
I would love that. I would
get JR back in the air, put him out on MC4.
I'm telling you, you could really
get a group of kids together that want to jump.
It would not be hard to do, for sure. So I would love to be more involved with it, but I'd also love to do a lot of different things. And I just, with time restraints with my shifts in the hospital and family life, running away on the weekend, every single weekend like we used to, is just not an option. And that's the kind of life you live when you're a skydiver. It's a all weekend, nearly every weekend
grab
kind of
everybody
thing.
And
so,
when you're on the drop, it was handy for us because we lived on the drop zone.
Right.
We just walked out the back door and over to the air hangar and got the airplane out and headed for blue skies.
I'd like to see the future of skydiving really just become more accessible, I guess. Not let regulation and things stop it from going. And I'd probably have to drive 2 hours in any direction to even find somewhere where I could...
Where there's a drop zone.
To even in this area. And there might be something more than that going on, but I don't have the equipment or
we'll have to
manpower.
Load up the plane with equipment, fly
I know,
into the wind.
if I can just talk my dad into coming down here. Jeez. So...
Get airborne, and it's a 2.5 hour flight or an 8 hour drive. It's a no-brainer for me.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And they got fuel at the airport now, so...
Good.
Out at Wynn. I went out and checked on it.
Yeah, it's a nice airport, and it's right there in town, easy to get to. So, if only we can make this happen, huh? So, anything else?
I can't think of too much else.
No, just, it's been fun.
Yeah.
That's about it.